Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Venerable monks, venerable nuns, friends, this evening I want to speak on something that may benefit everybody, since there are many new people. Some of them have not been here before. This is their first visit. We normally give somewhat deeper Dhamma talks for our monastic community and Bhavana residents. When we have visitors, we don't give deep Dhamma talks, but some Dhamma talk for everybody's benefit. So I decided spontaneously to give a talk on something very general. And I'm going to draw your attention to things that you already know. The things that I'm going to mention in my little talk this evening is not something new to you, but I want to put them in perspective, put them together. You all have learned Dhamma in various ways, from various sources, and when we think about the Dhamma that you know, you should be able to see some sequence, consistency, and certain order. And that is what I like to bring out in this little Dhamma talk. First, let me begin with the Buddha's Enlightenment. Every Buddhist, particularly Theravada Buddhists, know on the night he attained enlightenment, he gained 3 knowledges. That is called Vidya. Vidya is not the Vidya that you see by the roadsides, not magic. The word Vidya we use in Sinhalese for magic. But the word Vidya also is used in Sinhalese for science, Vidya. And this is something super science that Buddha saw was a super science. No scientist in modern term, in modern language, the word science is used for something that is not conclusive. Using various material things, they learn certain data and put them together to make something material. And they don't have any particular ethics, any particular code of moral, but they have their own certain agreement to follow certain kind of ethics. Not the kind of ethics that is taught in spiritual community, spiritual path. For example, modern scientists, they can kill any number of animals. They can create anything that can become harmful. They can create bombs to kill millions of people, guns to kill millions of people. So their science is sometimes very destructive, very immoral. But there is a benefit to that. In material sense, there are some material benefit. And therefore we never try to compare the science with Buddhism. Science or the Buddha. Buddha's science we call super science, Vidya. And Buddha had 3 Vidya. We call Trividya. This is a very profound thing that he discovered. Nobody before him discovered it to the extent that he discovered it, to the degree he understood it. Their knowledge was very limited. Buddha's knowledge was unlimited. First knowledge he gained is called Pubbhe Nivasanussati Jnana. We all know what it is. He remembered one of his previous life, 2, 3, 4, 100, 200, 300, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, millions, and billions, trillions of previous lives, and went on seeing his previous lives in 1 kappa, 2 kappas, 3 kappas, and many kappas. He began to see his previous lives went on receding to infinity, and he could not find any beginning. So after attainment of enlightenment, he very clearly, from his own experience, not from speculative theories that he learned from universities, from somebody else, from his own experience, having gone through countless eons, he found out that he could not find a beginning. And he declared to the world, the beginning of life can never be discerned, never be discovered, from his own experience. And then during his course of teaching, he met all kind of people, and they began to question him. Sometimes, what is the beginning of the world? Buddha says, don't waste your time. I tried that. I was foolish like you. I tried that. I could not find it. Don't waste your time. He said that from his own experience. We say things from what we have learned from books, from other teachers. We have not experienced. People who ask this question have not experienced even more than one life. They have experienced only this life. Not even that completely. Buddha experienced all this life and found this useless question. Don't ask that question. And there was a man called, a divine being called Rohitassa, a Deva. He came to the Buddha and asked him, Sir, can we find the beginning of the world by traveling? Buddha said, no. Then this deity said, you are right, Venerable Sir. You are right. I was a divine being in one of my previous lives. I tried that. I went. I was able to travel at a very high speed, like the speed of light. And I travel and travel and travel and travel, and I dropped dead. I could not find the beginning of the world. Therefore, you are right. But Buddha said, but this is the Buddha's answer, very beautiful, very profound, meaningful answer. He said, Gamanena napattabbang lokasantang kudachana apicha appatva lokasantang na dukkha santa karosya. By traveling, you cannot reach the beginning or end of universe by traveling. But without going to the end of the universe, end of the world, you cannot end suffering. It is a dilemma, a tricky answer. On the one hand, he said, you cannot come to the end of the world by traveling. On the other hand, he said, but you cannot bring suffering to an end without going to the end of the world. How can you go to the end of the world without traveling? So, I suspend the answer until I finish explaining other parts. This is the first knowledge he got. By receding through countless eons of the past to see whether there is a beginning. He did not go just to see the beginning, he wanted to see something else, even more profound. What is that? He wanted to see why this is happening. Why this has happened so many times. Why? So, then he thought, is it only me that was born and reborn so many times? These days there are people who say, we are born again so and so. Born again only once. He was born again and again and again and again and again. Countless millions and millions of eons he was born again and again. Then he asked, has that happened only to me? Then he began to, he knew, no, there must be others also. Then he began to think of others. And he saw others also are dying and taking rebirth according to their karma. That is his second knowledge. Second watch of the night he got that knowledge. That means he saw other beings also are dying and taking rebirth, and dying again and taking rebirth according to their karma. He saw according to my karma, I was born again and again and again and again and again and again in the past. Fortunately, this is my last. And other beings also are dying and taking rebirth countless times. So that is his second knowledge. That is called Yatha Kammopaga Jnana. Buddha's jnana also, his previous lives also, Yatha Kammopaga. Because he also was born and reborn, died and reborn according to his own karma. Other beings also are born and died and born, reborn according to their karma. Then Buddha began to wonder, why? Why does this happen to me as well as to others? Then he saw, why do we die? He began to ask this question first. Why do we die? What is the cause of death? These days, if you ask a pathologist, he will cut up your body, cut your head, and find out the cause of death. Buddha had only one answer. For modern pathologists, there may be many causes of death. Accident, poison, stabbing, sickness, and so forth. Buddha has only one answer for everybody's death. One cause. Because we are born. That is the cause. Then he thought, he's right. Because we were born, we die. Then he came up with a very, very universal formula. It is called Arya Nyaya. Arya Nyaya. What is Arya Nyaya? Imasming sati idang hoti. Imasa uppada idang uppajjati. Imasming asati idang nahoti. Idasya imasa nirodha idang nirujjati. This is the formula. This is the trick. This is called Arya Nyaya. Arya means noble ones. Nyaya means method. He discovered noble one's method. When imas means sati idang hoti means when this is, that is. When this arises, that arises. When this ceases, that ceases. By the death of this, that dies. That is it's a much, much bigger, profound phenomenon, theorem, better than Archimedes' principle, Pythagoras' theorems and so forth. It applies to all lives. From time immemorial to the infinity. So this is called sometimes Arya Nyaya, sometimes it is called dependent origination. And then he went on thinking. Why we die? Because of birth. Why we are born? Because we have something called bhava. What is bhava? Bhava means preparation for taking rebirth. It's called the things that we do for next life. All the things that we do for the next life, next existence is called bhava. If we don't have anything prepared, anything done, then there is no birth. Birth is there because we have already prepared for it. When we have done the preparation, there must be result, birth. So he went on at discovering the dependent origination. This is a very profound teaching. I simply want to mention it by name. I am not going to explain it at all, because neither you nor even me can understand it in such a short time. We may spend our entire life, still we may not understand it fully well. Perhaps we may have little glimpse of dependent origination. And therefore I am not going to explain that. So I want to put it in a perspective. So, when he saw this, the whole dependent origination is an explanation of two things of the Buddha's teaching that he discovered. One thing that it's a very, very beautiful, very profound, real, final answer to a very perpetual question that people keep asking again and again and again. That is, how all this came into being. This is a very common question that many people ask. How all this came into being? Buddha did not go into answer how all these beings came into being. Buddha wanted to narrow it down to a very specific thing. What is the specific thing that we have to worry about? Ourselves. In all these countless previous aeons of his existence, what was repeated? What was repeated? Repeated only the 5 aggregates. If you remember yourself 10 years ago, you remember what happened 10 years ago, you remember, you saw yourself 10 years ago, what have you seen? You have seen your body. You may remember your feelings. You remember what you have recognized. You remember what you have done. And you remember your consciousness. That's all. What you have now, only these 5. What you will have tomorrow, only these 5. What you had in a previous life, only these 5. What you had in millions and billions years ago, only these 5. It doesn't matter how far back you go, you will have only these 5. It doesn't matter how far in future you go, you will have only these 5. So Buddha was concerned about these 5, what we call aggregates: form, feeling, perceptions, volitional formations, and consciousness. So when people ask how all these things come into existence, Buddha completely ignored it. If somebody asks how living beings came into existence, then he has an answer. That is, since this exists, that exists. That means he explained dependent origination to explain how we living beings, humans, animals, divines, birds, fish, reptiles, goats, goblins, all this, how all these beings come into existence. He explained this in this formula called dependent origination. And this is his specific discovery. Nobody else has discovered that. So, and in discovery, what else he discovered? Two of his Four Noble Truths. Two of his Four Noble Truths. What are the two? Suffering and its end. In the dependent origination, ascending order explained how the suffering arises. And he concluded, summarizing the dependent origination, summarized by saying, eva metasya kevalasya dukkha khandasya samudayo hoti. This is the arising of this whole mass of suffering. These five aggregates are called five khandas, panchakhanda. Buddha has panchakhanda equal to dukkhakhanda. If you make an equation, on this side of the equation you have panchakhanda, five aggregates. On the other side of the equation you have dukkhakhanda. Because these two are equal. That is his discovery. And this dukkha khanda arises dependent on causes and conditions. On the other hand, end of dukkha khanda also is explained in the dependent origination. If you put on the one hand end of dukkha khanda and equation, on the other hand end of five aggregate. That is, eva metasya kevalasya dukkha khandasya nirodho hoti. End of dukkha. Now, of the Four Noble Truths, two more remain. Now, this is Buddha's science, Buddha's Vidya that he discovered under the Bodhi tree. He discovered, now all right, this is how it arises, this is how it ceases. Then what? How you make it cease? How do we make it cease? What is the secret? What should we do to end it? Then he remembered the path he followed, what is called Noble Eightfold Path. Noble Eightfold Path. By following the Noble Eightfold Path, we can bring suffering to an end. Dependent origination explained how these things arise. When the causes and conditions cease, dukkha comes to an end. Then he found out what should we do to bring it to an end. And this is called Noble Eightfold Path. You also have heard, this is called Magga path. Also you have heard Sotapatti Magga, Sakadagami Magga, Anagami Magga, Arahanta Magga, and Sotapatti Phala, Sakadagami Phala, Anagami Phala, Arahanta Phala, and so forth. That means stream entry path, stream entry fruition, once returners path, once returners fruition, never returners path, never returners fruition, Arahant's path, Arahant's fruition. So what is the difference between Noble Eightfold Path and the stream interest path. Once returner's path, Sakadagami Magga, Anagami Magga, Arahanta Magga, what is the difference? There is no difference, friends, whatsoever. Sotapatti Magga means the Noble Eightfold Path practicing in supramundane level is called Sotapatti Magga. There are no two different paths. Esova Maggo Nattanyo, Buddha said. This is the only path, no other path for Noble Eightfold Path, for Sotapatti stream entry path, one path. One day Venerable Sariputta, Buddha asked Venerable Sariputta, Soto tu uchati kingpanayasma Sariputto Soto. Asked Sariputta, you have heard Sota. What is Sota? Buddha asked Venerable Sariputta, what is Sota? Sota is, sometimes we use for the ear. We say Sotancha Pajanati, Saddecha Pajanati. The word Sota is used for stream of water, Nadi Sotovya. Sota also is used for kilesa, defilements. Venerable Sariputta did not give any of these meanings. When the Buddha asked, what do you mean by Sota? Venerable Sariputta said, Ayameva Aryo Attangiko Maggo Bhante Soto. Venerable Sir, this very noble eightfold path is called Sota. Why is it called Sota? Sota means something that continuously flows to a certain end. Sota. So, somebody who is practicing this Noble Eightfold Path very mindfully, meticulously, consistently, very, very honestly and sincerely follow the Noble Eightfold Path. Is there anybody who does not know Noble Eightfold Path? I don't believe that. I don't believe any of you don't know. But to refresh your memory, let me say that in 30 seconds. Right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration. Friends, you may think, well, since Bhante Ji is a Buddhist and Buddhist monk, he may try to praise the Buddha, praise the Dhamma and glorify Buddha and Dhamma. But friends, honestly speaking, only in Buddhism, a method is given for his followers to follow. A system is given. No other tradition can you find a system. They ask you to believe. Only the Buddha gave us a system to follow. Venerable Sariputta said, Venerable Sir, this is called the Sota. One who entered the Sota, then Buddha asked, what do you call Sotapanna? That means, Venerable Sariputta said, the very same individual who entered this path is called Sotapanna person. How that happens? There are a few things to do. Friends, don't try to die as a putujjana. Try to attain stream entry. Only thing, that's all you have to do. Or attain only stream entry. Nothing else. That is more than enough for your life. Why is that? That is the only thing that gives us guarantee. That is the only thing that protects us from falling, taking rebirth in hells, taking rebirth as animals, taking rebirth as petas, ghosts, goblins. We will be 100% guaranteed that we will never be born in any of those stages. A putujjana, no guarantee. Anything can happen. So, what one has to do? First, associate with good friends. Kalyana mitta. Kalyana mitta means excellent friend. Not friend that helps, that joins you to drink a beer in a bar. That is not a good friend. That is an opportunist. Not a friend who gives you a lunch or dinner once a while. Not a friend who join you on a picnic. They are not excellent friends. Excellent friends are those who prevent you from falling to hell. Excellent friend is the one who prevents you from falling into animal kingdom. Excellent friend is the one who protects you from falling into demon life, ghostly life, peta life. Because excellent friend is the one who speaks the truth. Putujjana is called Aryanang Adassavi. Those who have not seen Aryans. Arya Dhamme Akovido. Not skilled in Arya Dhamma. Arya Dhamme Avinito. Not disciplined in noble Dhamma. And if we follow excellent friend, then what we do? Kalyana mitta and Dhamma savana, listening to Dhamma. Dhamma savana, in the Buddha's time, since they did not have books, they did not have internet. Today you can go to internet and download a lot of Dhamma talks. You can read books. Those days, only means of learning was listening to Dhamma. So, listening was emphasized, but we can say today, not only listening, even reading Dhamma. So, number 2 is, first is associate with good friend. Remember in Mangala Sutta, the first thing Buddha, when the deity asked her to tell her, what is the blessing that we should follow? He gave 38 kind of blessings. Number 1, don't associate with fools. Number 2, associate with the wise. That is a blessing. Who is the fool? Dukkhata kari, dubbhasita bhani, duchita chintata chinti. One who does evil deeds with body, say evil words with mouth, and think evil thought. That is bala, fool. The wise is the one who does physically excellent beneficial thing, say verbally excellent beneficial words, think excellent benefit thoughts. Associate with such a person. That is number 2. First number 2, number 1 is associate with good friends, second is listen to Dhamma. Then Dhamma Patipatti. Listening to Dhamma is not enough. Reading Dhamma book is not enough. When you keep reading, you remain to be Padaparama. You know the Pali word Padaparama? There are 4 types of individuals. One is called Uggatitanya, the one who attains enlightenment instantly by listening to one word. Other is called Vipanchitanya, who attain enlightenment, stream entry, by thinking, meditating for some period of time. And the third is called Nyaya, Ugrata Vipanchanya, Nyaya. Nyaya means one whom you have to train again and again, repeat things again and again, dragging him, holding him by hand, you have to drag him. These are the 3. Even these 3 people can attain stream entry this very life. But the Padaparama, it is a beautiful Pali word, Padaparama. Padaparama means words are his best. That means he likes words. He likes talk. He likes read. He likes writing. That's all he does. Padaparama. The words, his best are words. No deeds, nothing else. So most of us are Padaparamas, scholars, not putting Dhamma into practice. So number 3 is Dhamma Patipatti. And then all this we find in the Noble Eightfold Path. You follow the Noble Eightfold Path again and again in your own way. And then one day, this is the point that initiates the spark, the light. It is just like you are trying to start your engine. You crank and turn and turn. One moment it ignites and engine starts. Like that, you keep practicing Noble Eightfold Path again and million times. All your life, not only one, all the 8. All the 8. In your own way, at your own speed. Then one day, you see, this is so noble, so wonderful. I can see the Buddha here. I can see the Buddha in this Noble Eightfold Path. Buddha speak to me from this. So you see the Buddha. As Buddha says, Yo dhammang pasati, so mang pasati. Today people ask, where is the Buddha? Buddha is dead and gone 2600 years ago. Where is he? You can see the Buddha in his words, right alive, shining, talking to you. You look at the Dhamma and read the Dhamma books, very honestly and sincerely, devoting your time, Buddha is right there, talking to you. Every word of the Buddha, every word you find in the Dhamma, talks to you. Because what do you find in the Dhamma? What we find in the Dhamma is not in the book. What we read in the Dhamma is in us. Buddha talk about suffering. It is not in a paper, not in a library, not in a bookshop, not in a grocery shop. Where is suffering? In us. These words tell us, you have suffering. That is what the Buddha said. And Buddha speaks to us. So Buddha is still alive. Alive in his words. And then what happens? You think, this is the Buddha. Then you read the Dhamma again and again and again. And this is pearl, diamond. This Dhamma is diamond. Most valuable thing. Nothing more valuable than this. Then you see the Arya Sangha. These are the holy ones who followed this path. Then your heart opens, you gain confidence. These are the 4 qualities that Arya disciples of the Buddha should have. To enter Sotapanna stage, these are the 4 things you need. What? 4. Have unshakable faith in the Buddha. Unshakable faith is the faith that nobody can buy. Nobody can buy you by giving few $1,000s. Nobody can convert you to anything by giving you a girl or a boy to marry. This is happening in many places. They just give a girl, next day you become follower of that girl's religion. If you have unshakable faith, doesn't matter what people give, you never sacrifice your faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And the 4th is, you have impeccable morality, sila. What sila? You don't have to become a Buddhist monks and nuns. As lay people, you can observe 5 precepts. 5 precepts. 5 precepts we observe honestly, without breaking even one, no matter what. That is your impeccable morality. If you want more, take right speech, not to slander, not to use harsh words, not to gossip, adopt right livelihood. That also you find in the Noble Eightfold Path. 5 precepts you find in the Noble Eightfold Path, except the taking intoxicants. Follow that. When you have these 4 qualities, you belong to Aryan disciples of the Buddha. Aryan disciples of the Buddha. And then you keep practicing Noble Eightfold Path again and again and again. Now you have full confidence in the Buddha. All your doubt completely wipe out from your mind. No doubt. That moment you entered the Noble Eightfold Path in a supramundane level. Because you have full confidence. You keep practicing again. Then your attachment to your rites and rituals will completely wipe out. And still you are in the Noble Eightfold Path and supramundane path level. And you keep practicing Noble Eightfold Path again and again and again and again. Then your wrong belief that there is permanent self will completely wipe out from your mind. That moment you enter stream entry fruition with the supramundane level. These are the 3 things you have to do. Therefore, friends, This is what the Buddha discovered, and he laid down this plan for us, and it is 100% clear. All we have to do is to accept it and follow it. And he discovered this right under the Bodhi tree on the night he attained full enlightenment. I think this is all I should do tonight. I don't want to make you too tired by sitting, twisting, turning and being sleepy and so forth by giving a long Dhamma talk. But this, I think, is sufficient for tonight. I'm very glad that you all came tonight and stay here to listen to evening little Dhamma talk. And I wish you all to be totally free from all your suffering, and all of you attain enlightenment, at least the best attain stream entry in this life, become an Aryan disciples of the Buddha, and then finally may you all attain Nibbana. Sadhu.